Hell yeah. All right. I'm AZD, also known as Spider. To my friends, this is AZD and IMC Nation. That's me again. This is IMC Nation. We're a worldwide movement. I don't need to go over too much over that. I see everybody online. I know we're starting kind of early. Everybody on all the little social medias, what's going on? So we're going to talk philosophy, okay? And philosophy, let's start with that word. It's the love of wisdom, okay? And now we have to have a distinction between knowledge and wisdom. They're not the same thing, okay? You could have a lot of knowledge with zero wisdom. Very little wisdom, tons of knowledge. Tons of knowledge, no wisdom. You could have tons of wisdom with zero knowledge. That's what's crazy. We're going to talk about that, see if that works, okay? So let's see the difference. Knowledge would be information, data collected, right? And processed to some degree and able to be recalled. Knowledge. Like if you don't remember it, you don't know it. You can't say, well, you know, I went through Spanish 1, 2, 3 in school, but I can't speak Spanish, but I have the knowledge of Spanish. No, you really don't. The knowledge is not knowledge has to be available to you for us to count that data as knowledge. Doesn't matter if you read 400 books, but you only remember one fucking page of one book, right? Your knowledge is of one page of one book, and maybe you are unconscious the rest of the time. Who knows? So knowledge, when you look deeper into it with deeper insight, with meditation, that's what that is. As you look deeper into knowledge, you see that it has to be available to you, otherwise it's not knowledge. So it's like the person loses their memory for whatever fucking reason, right? And then they don't know their name anymore. So that means they don't have a knowledge of their name anymore. You could say, but they know it, but they don't know it because they can't use it. It's not available as fucking data, right? So it really doesn't matter that somebody had all that schooling. It matters how much knowledge they have. That does matter how much knowledge somebody has. Knowledgeable people are valuable people, right? For example, if I want to know about my car, right? A knowledgeable mechanic is one that would know the parts, and I wouldn't know the parts, and he would know how they relate to each other. I would have no fucking idea how they relate to each other, right? So if you have a vast amount of knowledge, that's one thing. Now, if I went to him and I said, okay, how many cars have you worked on? He said, none. So what do you mean? How do you know all that about a car, but you never worked on one? That doesn't make sense. He said, no, I studied it. I read the diagrams. I even went up to a junkyard and car dealership, and you know, we touched all the parts. That's knowledge. I got it, right? But how many cars have you fixed with that knowledge? Well, I haven't done it yet. Okay, you have zero wisdom. You have no wisdom. Nothing. Zero. Not even 1 ounce yet. Why? Okay. You get stranded somewhere, and there's a little hut in the middle of the forest. This old man walks out. He looks scary. And what's going on with the lantern? Oh, we got stranded. He says, and the hood is up, and there's 5 guys, and they're all trying to figure it out. They called the tow truck. It's not arriving. Their cell phone doesn't work. They're about to be killed. So he walks up, and he's old as fuck. They don't even know how old he is. He's much older than what they think he is. He walks up, and he says, do you mind if I look? They're suspicious, but they're more scared than anything, so they give him space. So he goes there with the lantern, puts it up. He doesn't look like he's giving a fuck about them. And he starts looking and looking. He starts touching this and touching that. And then he looks under the hood, under the car. He comes back. And then he goes like this. He reaches in his pocket, and he takes out some little thing. It looks like a paper clip. And he starts to undo it. He goes in there and puts it around, right? And he goes around, and he sits down, opens the door. Boom, the car starts. He gets out. Well, that's it. How'd you do that? He said, oh, all it was this, that, and the current wasn't flowing. And all you needed was a piece of metal to touch these two. No problem. Right? And they're like, are you a mechanic? He laughs. He says, no. They say, did you go to school about this? Are you an electrician? He said, no. Fuck school, he said. They say, how did you know how to fix it? He said, I've lived thousands and thousands of years. And every time my car broke down, I went in there and tried to fix it. I know how to fix cars. I don't need to read books about it, and I don't need to go to school for it, because I've fixed more cars than any lifetime you can remember right now. That's called wisdom. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Okay? They're not the same. Now, the wisdom, the man with the wisdom can study knowledge and study it from a perspective of wisdom. Now take that man and put him into mechanics school and have him, okay. Oh, and he's so wise, he could hear them say something small. Maybe they talk about the oil change, but he looks so much deeper, and he has an enormous realization because he has wisdom. And everybody else missed it. And he appreciates the knowledge, and he knows where he doesn't need to look at it. Now, the guys who don't have the knowledge in the same class, they can't evaluate what's more or less important. They think just because it's on chapter 3, it's all important. Maybe chapter 3 only has one sentence that matters. Maybe that's all that matters. Maybe when you approach a woman, you're not supposed to show so much attention in the beginning and interest. Maybe that itself, knowing that with wisdom, means more than knowing how to say hi, how to turn over the shoulder, what to say to her, how your body language should be, how you should sound. All of that can be thrown out, and it could just be, don't show interest to her when you walk up to her. It would take wisdom, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands times a lot of thousands of time spent doing that to laugh at everybody doing that. But if never time spent to know the wisdom, then is it more important to lean away or lean in? Should I smile or not? Should I compliment on her looks? When's the right time to buy whatever? Now all datums have the same importance. And this is why you can't move through subjects. Because when I speak to people, I can tell where they're lacking wisdom, and they think that knowledge is wisdom. Knowledge is data. And you can find an opposing data somewhere else. I promise you, every time you find data, there's an opposing data. Every single time. But wisdom, if a sentence was written 2,500 years ago, then 2,500 years later, when I read the same wisdom, all negativity in the world. Got it? This is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, one of my teachers. He's precise, very precise in his communication. All negativity in the world, go ahead and take a look at some, is only. Now, only means when you have a bin of shit with 1,000 Legos, only means just that one. It means it doesn't matter if one's made of crystals, one's made of diamonds, one's made of plastic. If the only one that finishes the Lego is a plastic one, then if you put the diamond in there, you fuck up the picture. Put the plastic one. Only means only. All negativity in the world is only due to the lack of knowledge of consciousness and the means to develop higher states of consciousness. All negativity in the world is because one lacks a knowledge of oneself, would be another way to say consciousness. Know thyself. And a means, a ways of expanding that consciousness. That's what we do. I'm AZD. This is INC Nation. As my teacher said, be the best. Fuck the rest. See you in the next class.